The layoffs are bad, but what happens after is worse. They do not hire back, ever. Welcome back to Code Sunset. I am Ethan Cole. Last episode, we talked about AI washing, companies slapping AI on a press release to justify cuts they were going to make anyway. Today, we are looking at the other side of that coin. What happens when AI deployment actually works? When the tools actually land? When the workflows actually change? And I will be direct with you. It is worse than the layoffs. Here is why. A traditional layoff is painful, but it is temporary. The company cuts 20% of its workforce. The remaining 80% absorbs the load, burnout spikes, quality drops, and eventually the company hires again. That is the cycle. That has been the cycle for decades. Recessions come, jobs go, jobs come back. We all understood the rhythm. AI-driven restructuring breaks that rhythm permanently. When a company successfully integrates AI into its operations, something fundamental changes. The work does not just shrink, it gets redesigned from the ground up. The old job descriptions stop making sense. The old team structures become irrelevant. And the positions that were eliminated do not come back, because the work those people used to do no longer exists in a form that requires a human being. I call these ghost teams. A department that used to have 30 people now runs with 8. Not because the remaining 8 are working triple shifts, but because the actual workflow has been rebuilt around AI tooling. The 8 people left are doing fundamentally different work than what the original 30 were doing. They are not doing more of the old work, they are doing new work entirely. Let me give you a concrete example. Klarna, the fintech company, announced in early 2025 that its AI assistant was handling the work of 700 customer service agents. 700. They did not reassign those people to other teams. They froze hiring across the company and let natural attrition do the rest. Their CEO, Sebastian Siemiatkowski, said publicly that Klarna had gone from around 5,000 employees to about 3,500, and the company was performing better on every metric: faster response times, higher customer satisfaction scores, lower operating costs. There is no business case to rehire, none. This is happening across the board. Dropbox cut 500 positions in 2023, about 16% of its workforce, and explicitly stated it was to build out AI capabilities. They did not backfill those roles. They restructured entire product teams around smaller, AI-augmented units. The positions were removed from the org chart entirely. Look at what is happening inside content operations. 2 years ago, a typical content team at a mid-sized tech company had writers, editors, SEO specialists, graphic designers, and project managers. Today, the same output, or more, is produced by a team half that size using AI for first drafts, automated editing pipelines, generative visuals, and algorithmic SEO optimization. The senior writer is now an AI editor. The project manager is now a workflow orchestrator. 3 of those 5 original roles simply evaporated because the process was rebuilt. Engineering teams are seeing the same pattern. Companies that have successfully deployed AI coding assistants are not just making developers faster. They are changing what a development team looks like. Fewer specialists, more generalists who can orchestrate AI tools across the full stack. The architect who used to need a team of 5 to implement their designs now needs 2. And those 2 are not doing what the original 5 did. They are reviewing AI-generated code, managing context windows, and validating outputs. It is a different job. Here is the data that should concern you. According to a 2025 report from the Burning Glass Institute, companies that deployed AI tools at scale reduced headcount by an average of 20 to 25% within 12 months. But their job postings in those same departments dropped by over 40%. They did not backfill. They did not plan to backfill. There was nothing to backfill. The workflow had moved on. And this creates something I think is genuinely new: a 2-tier labor market. On one side, you have companies that are genuinely AI native. They operate with radically smaller teams, higher margins, and faster output. On the other side, you have companies still running legacy workflows with oversized, stressed teams doing things the old way. The first group is more profitable. The second group is one bad quarter away from a restructuring of their own. And when they do restructure, they will not just cut, they will redesign. Because now there is a playbook. What makes this particularly painful is the speed. Traditional automation, factory robots, ATMs, self-checkout, took decades to reshape industries. Workers had time to retrain, relocate, adapt. AI is doing it in quarters. A company can go from pilot program to full deployment in 6 months. Shopify's CEO, Toby Lütke, sent an internal memo in 2025 telling managers that before requesting new headcount, they had to demonstrate why the work could not be done by AI first. That is not a policy. That is a permanent structural filter on hiring. Every new role has to justify its existence against a machine, and once one competitor does this, the rest follow, because the economics are impossible to argue with. When your competitor is shipping the same product with 40% fewer people, you do not get to keep your headcount out of loyalty. The board will not allow it. The market will not allow it. So what do you do if you are watching this happen around you? If your team is half the size it was 2 years ago and nobody talks about backfilling, that is exactly what we are covering next episode. Because the answer is not just learn AI. It is more nuanced, more specific, and more urgent than any career advice you have received in the last decade. But first, I want you to think about something. Look at your team. Look at your department. Is it smaller than it was 2 years ago? Ask yourself honestly, was that a layoff? Or was it a restructure? Because the difference determines everything. A layoff means the jobs might come back. A restructure means the work was redesigned. And redesigned work does not need the old roles. Those jobs are not coming back. Subscribe to CodeSunset, Clarity over Comfort. I am Ethan Cole, and this is CodeSunset.